Good evening, everybody. Welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So, I'm doing this a little bit earlier. It's supposed to come out Friday night. It will come out Friday night, but I'm filming it a day earlier because I may have to work Friday night, so I won't be able to do that. Can't be in two places at once. So, we're doing our show that we do every Friday now called Monster Hits. The year we're doing today is 1971. So basically what we do in here is I go through the list of those big hits that came out in the particular year, in this case 1971. Go through them, pick out my 10 favorites, and then give you the list. Now originally it was five, but I've decided that there's just so many good songs that came out that you got to make it a little bigger. So I'll try 15 and see if this works for everybody's satisfaction. So I've written down the 10 songs that I like the most for that year. And I tried to stay with the big hits. So there may be a few songs on this list that were kind of lower down that would have probably made this list, but they were lower down. I just felt like they weren't the big hits of that year. So I'm trying to stay with those, feel like a top 40s, like try to stay in the top 40 if I can for this. Otherwise I could just pick about anything and make my list for the year. So I've decided that's what I'm going to do, and so I'm going to stick with it. So today we have 10 songs, as you know, and we actually had about 15, and I whittled it down to the top 10. So for me, and we'll do it from number 10 to number 1. So my least favorite of these to my most favorite. And all these songs are well known. These are all radio staples. There isn't a song on here, I think, that doesn't get a lot of airplay on rock radio. And they're basically well-known tracks, and they're big hits. So we will go with them today. And so number 10 might surprise a few people because I'm such a big fan of this band that this being maybe their biggest song, you would think that it would be among my favorites, but it was actually the very reason why I never chose to listen to them for decades until the 2000s, because I didn't like this particular track, but I didn't realize this is just one track, totally different from a lot of their other stuff. So anyways, the song is Aqualung by Jethro Tull off the self-titled same album. I just never warmed really much to this track, but it was a big hit for the group in 1971. So this coming in at number 10. Number 9, at one time I loved this song quite a bit, but it's had a ton, and more of a ton of airplay than, probably more songs than you can count to stick at. It may be the greatest song in history, I don't know. Definitely one of the ones that have to be considered for it. We're talking about Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin. Pretty hard track not to like. Even though it gets a ton of airplay and everybody plays it and everybody talks about it ad infinitum, it's still a great track. Almost a genius track in some ways. So coming in number 9, Stairway to Heaven. Coming in at number 8, the song from Elton John called Tiny Dancer. I've always liked this tune. It's not my favorite Elton John tune, but it's a real catchy kind of melody, and he does those better than most people. I'm almost certain he's one of the best at it. So number 8 is Tiny Dancer, Elton John. Number 7 we have from John Lennon. This is, I believe, his first attempt to go when he was going on his own. I believe this was his first big hit. Don't quote me on that, but I think that this was, and it's Imagine. Song I loved quite a bit in its time. It's kind of worn on me over the years, but such a great masterpiece. So Imagine from John Lennon. Number 6, this is probably one of my 2 or 3 favorite David Bowie songs. Definitely has that impact on my, it's been a very impactful song for me. I really have enjoyed the vocal parts that he does in this. Change. What's your name? Yeah, such a good track. So that's number 6. Number 5, now we're getting in the top 5. The last 5 I still like quite a bit. A Horse with No Name from America. I don't know much about this band. I never really listened to any of their stuff. I never owned any of their stuff, but I always loved this track. It's one of those catchy songs that once it's in your head, you'll find yourself singing it constantly. A Horse with No Name by America, number 5. Number 4 comes from the Rolling Stones. Yes, of course. Brown Sugar. Could there be... I don't know if I have a song that I like more by the Rolling Stones than this one, but it's definitely top 5 material here. Just such a great heavy riff, catchy as all hell. I love mixed vocal parts on this, and this is a classic Stones song from the classic Stones era. Number 4, Brown Sugar. Number 3, this is a song that I've always liked, even though for years and years and years and years and years and years I never listened to the band. I didn't like them, and they were nothing to do with them. They were of no interest to me. My best friends loved this band. He pushed on it, he pushed on it, he pushed on it, and I said, I hate them, don't bring them up again. And then a couple of years ago when I started this, I was at a yard sale, and all of their albums were there in the box except for the one that I didn't know about, but there was 5 of them, and I bought them all just because they cost me like 50 cents each. They're all in great shape, and I thought, you know what, I'll give them another try, and I did. But this song I've always liked, so it's almost the reverse of Jethro Tull, where the one song turned me right off the band, and this song I liked when I first heard it. It was the only song by the band I loved, but I never followed them. And we're talking about Riders on the Storm by the Doors. Sorry, Riders on the Storm by the Doors. I guess I kind of tongue-tied that a bit. The last 2 are out of doubt, were my favorite 2 on this list. Easily could have been flipped around. They're both a little bit worn, overplayed, but great tracks. Number 2, Roundabout by Yes. Many feel it's their greatest song. It's the greatest commercial song for sure, but there's a lot of stuff that they do that's better than this, but I still love this song quite a bit. And then of course from The Who, one of the most iconic songs live. Everybody always has that image of Pete Townsend jumping through the air and landing on his knees, and Roger Daltrey with that extraordinary scream, and Keith Moon hammering away at those drums. Won't Get Fooled Again. Just such a great track. One of the great songs by The Who. One of the great bands in rock history. So there you go. Those are my top 10. Those are the 10 songs, my 10 monster hits I chose this week. And those are the rankings of them according to my own preference. And I'm pretty sure you could take any one of these 10 by anybody else's preference and put them on top. There may be another 10 songs out there that certainly belong on this list as well, but this is the 10 I chose. So just to reiterate, Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who, Roundabout by Yes, Riders on the Storm from the Doors, number 3, number 4, Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones, number 5, A Horse with No Name by America, number 6, Changes by David Bowie, number 7, Imagine by John Lennon, number 8, Tiny Dancer by Elton John, number 9, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, and number 10, Aqualung by Jethro Tull. And there you have it. I'm not changing my mind. I've already changed it a dozen times on this list, and just from weaving songs in and out, and then finally setting the monster hits I think will best represent that year and are amongst the biggest songs of that year, and then I rank them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have your own 10, put them down below. If you have any comments about what I've said, you can put them down below. If you think I'm a complete idiot, you can tell me, but I may not answer you. And please like and subscribe, and we will see you again next Friday for another episode of Monster Hits. Next Friday we're doing 1972. It's going to get harder and harder because the 70s, there's a mind-boggling amount of great songs each year. Just a mind-boggling amount, and that's why I decided to go from 5 to 10. I just felt like I was leaving people out, too many people out. So getting a little bit more action now. So let's hope that it continues. Maybe I'll end up doing a top 20. Who knows? Take care and have a good day. Bye.